So Tyler, the Creator, just recently dropped a surprise album roughly 9 months after he dropped an album at the end of 2024, Chromacopia. He drops the album Don't Tap the Glass. Just a blast of a party album and such a culturally grounded and influential album. And that's what I want to get into and cover in this video today. This album is so grounded in hip hop culture, it's not even funny. Tyler takes to a time period where hip hop was being developed and the true birth and formation of hip hop culture, which is the 80s, early 80s into the 90s period. Sonically, he did that a lot on Chromacopia. In this album, he leans all the way into it. This is a very party album. During that time period, I was a young person, very young, a kid, if you will, during that time period. But partying and having fun was the order of the day. Back then, people didn't care too much about how they looked, how much money they had. That was a thing. It was still there, but it wasn't as prominent. Having fun, partying, having a good time was what people focused on in the culture. And that's what I think Tyler is focusing on in this album and bringing it back to. Yes, there's some other messaging in there. There's some threats, if you will. Okay, of course, the video that he dropped, Stop Playing With Me, is definitely just a little bit of messaging for people in the industry who may be playing with Tyler's name, present and in the past. But before we get into all the drama, I just want to get into the soundscapes and the promotion and the aesthetics of the album as well. First of all, Tyler is showing, I think, a lot of artists how to do great business with the rollout and with the way he's promoting the Converse. I think he has a deal with Converse, and Converse being attached to that time period as the Converse weapons. That's not the shoes that he has on exactly, but the Converse weapon was a very popular shoe amongst Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dr. J. I think Dr. J had the red and white Converse weapons. Just so much homage / homage to the foundations of hip hop culture as they exist today. Throughout the album, I think he's done a great job sonically and I think visually with some of the marketing of highlighting the culture both historically and currently, and just blending those two identities together. I think, Tyler has a young fan base. He has a very wide fan base, I would say. And it's important to bridge that gap of information as far as knowing where things come from so we can direct more where they're headed. And I think he's doing that beautifully throughout the album, throughout this album and the Chromacopia album. The Chromacopia album, of course, was a more personal album. This is just a more party, culturally rich album, in my opinion. Love the album. I know some of the soundscapes probably will rub people the wrong way if they're not really familiar with where he's going and where he's coming from with the album. But some of the groups and the sounds that he is taking inspiration from, like you can hear a lot of DeBarge in the records, like this record, for instance. That's the record, Don't You Worry, Baby, of course. Just really calling back, just really modernizing that sound. The saturation in the records, in the overall mastering of the project, which harkens back to that analog sound. Fantastic job that they did with those soundscapes. I think the other smart business part is this album is going to stream all over the place. This is a get up in the morning, get motivated, stream all day. You can stream this in so many different instances of having a good time. I think he's very smart in making a whole project that does that. I think Kendrick did the same thing with GNX. And again, using a sound that is going back to earlier time in hip hop. All of that is fantastic because there needs to be a righting of the ship. I think we all can agree to that. In 2024, got us off to a fantastic start, and that happened. And I think the way he's sampling the sounds without just taking direct samples from the records is also something that is just fire, in my opinion, and a proper way to pay homage, especially since a lot of the older artists don't own their publishing. But records like Sugar on My Tongue that have that Prince sound to them, and that early funk sound, that Zapp and Roger sound as well, like this.
Tell your mama, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your daddy, tell the world, like sugar on my...
I think doing that is important for the quality of music going forward. I think a lot of musicians and so-called musicians and producers and artists and the like have not really gone back and listened to really good music of the past. And they kind of sample records that are really, really popular radio records. They don't really dive deep into the soundscapes that those records come out of. And I think that's what makes for the best quality of music, which is why I think certain artists have much more consistent success and are just thought of higher. You know what I'm saying? Their music doesn't just come and go. It has a little more lasting power because great music is timeless. I mean, when he gets into on Sucker Free, that New Edition type sound.
I'm that guy trying to get my paper, baby. I'm that guy for real.
You really are catching every generation with the album and with the soundscape. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's gonna like it, but those who are of the culture, those who are really hip hop, those who are really soulful, those who are of that African American appreciation cloth is gonna love the sound of this album and a lot of the hip hop projects that are coming out this year, last year, and I think moving forward. It really comes off and it sounds like the artists are taking back control of the sound. You're getting less of a repetitive corporate sound of people who don't understand our culture, who don't understand music, and who are just looking to kind of manufacture popularity streams and talent. It's not the way to go. The success of albums like this, I believe this album is already streaming #1 on Apple Music in like 50 countries. So the proof is in the pudding, okay? When the artists have control, when the artists have more say in what goes on in the distribution of their music and the creation of their musical sound, we get the people involved and we get the culture moving in the right direction. I think Tyler is showing and displaying how much clout chasing nonsense was going on in the music industry in the past 5, 6 years, 7 years or so. Because there's a lot of y'all that pretend to be hip hop and you don't understand. Y'all don't understand sound like this. Y'all don't know what this is really about. That ring, ring, ring really goes crazy.
I know it's hard though.
And that's the beautiful part about this album, because if you're willing to learn, Tyler is getting y'all in tune by bringing these records and using this sound and bringing it back for a whole project. Now, the elephant in the room is, of course, the Stop Playing With Me video. Now, the visuals in the video, of course, again, stay in the time frame, in the time zone, the LL Cool J reference with the radio, ultramagnetic MCs type soundscape. I love the soundscape of the record. But of course, the cameos in the video, LeBron James and Maverick Carter, especially this part where Maverick Carter is putting on the work gloves. I don't know what that's supposed to symbolize, but he's putting on some gloves. We know people have been playing with Tyler's name, with LeBron's name, and also the Clipse also making an appearance. They said a lot on the Let God Sort 'Em Out album. When I go over that album and the tracks on that album, I'll go over some of the things I think they were alluding to as far as the overall issues in the game. I don't think they were throwing direct shots at anybody, just like I don't think Tyler is. I think that if the shoe fits, wear it. I think that's where we are in hip hop right now. There's a lot of goofies who fit the characteristics that everybody is sort of taking shots at in their bars. But one thing I do love about the video and the sound is the homage to Missy Elliott as well. I think that's being missed. Missy did the same kind of thing with the video Gossip Folks from like the mid 2000s. Also, I think the sound on the title track, Don't Tap That Glass, it's got that Missy sound with it. Also a little bit of that ultramagnetic MC sound with it.
That glass, don't tap that glass, don't tap that glass, nigga, don't tap that glass, there's a monster in it, don't tap that glass, don't tap that glass, baby, don't tap bling bling.
I would say ultramagnetic, especially from a drum standpoint. And again, the saturation and the distortion standpoint, there's a lot of that influence on the album. Again, overall, I think it's a really smart album to make at this time, especially on the back of Chromacopia within the same year. Even though the soundscapes are similar, on some records. There's a big juxtaposition to the messaging. I think Tyler is a genius from a business standpoint in dropping this album while he's on tour. This can continue the tour. Like I said, I think Kendrick with the GNX Deluxe is probably gonna do the same thing. I think you're gonna see a lot of artists do this because I think the real artists are gonna drop a lot of music like some of the maybe propped up artists have done in the past with their teams of writers and things. You know, a lot of real artists leave a lot of records on the table and don't release a lot, as you can search the internet and hear a lot of unreleased music from certain artists. I think now artists have just decided to find a way to navigate, to put it out, put the music out, be able to gain the most that they can from it and control it in the right fashion and present it in the right fashion as they wish it to be presented, as I think Tyler did perfectly with this record. Don't Tap That Glass, especially if you into that retro 80s sound. This album is fire. It just really is. I really liked the album all the way through. Had a couple dry spots that, you know, I'm not getting into all that, but if I'm being picky, it did. But all the way through, this is a great album, 10 tracks, great listen to get your day started. Again, kudos to Tyler, the creator, always dropping heat. I don't think Tyler has dropped a bad album yet. And I think he's, what, nine albums in. So fantastic job, Tyler, the creator. Let me know what y'all think of the album in the comments below. Hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Share this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Thank y'all for watching. As always, we keeping it hip hop, keeping it in the culture, and we are out.